everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another video on authenticating a pair of fake Louboutin boots. If you are new to my channel, I do a variety of videos focused on luxury designer goods. Most of them are secondhand that I've purchased with the intent to resell online. I do a lot of my own refurbishments and restoring, and so I do have some videos with tips on how to do that. So if those things sound interesting to you, please like and subscribe to this video. Alright, so without further ado, I'll get into a pair of boots that I thought I was getting a killer deal on online. I bought them about a week ago. I paid just under $200 for them, and of course the pictures on the listing were just terrible. They were from like the worst angles that didn't show the entire shoe, and so I was guessing a lot on what this shoe was. The way that the shoes were positioned, I actually saw them probably in the same view that you guys are seeing them now, but which made it such that I did not see this central seam, and that would have probably been a giveaway that this pair of boots was not authentic. But actually I have not been able to find the style of boot that this replica is trying to replicate. So if you guys know, please comment down below and let me know, because I'm not familiar with this style. Initially, when I saw the boots kind of from the side and I didn't see the entire kind of tip of the shoe, I thought that this was the Eloise boot, but they're just a little too pointed to be that. And then of course the midline seam is not typical of the Eloise boot or even the Socate boot. So this is like trying to be maybe a Socate boot. I'm not entirely sure. The main damage that she showed on the shoes was this heel tip, which is still something that you can actually fairly easily replace the tips. The actual stem has not been damaged, and I do have a video about that if you guys want to check it out, how to know when a stem is actually damaged to the point where you probably shouldn't be buying that pair of shoes because it's gonna just be too expensive to fix. I'll link that here if I can figure out how. And so yeah, so that was the main damage that she displayed, but actually there's a lot more damage to this shoe. So if these had been authentic, I guess even this damage would have been okay on real leather, but I'm pretty sure this is not real leather because of the way that it's wearing, and so I think this would have actually been very difficult to restore. Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video to show you what are the things that made me question this right away. I will say that the glossiness and the red color of the soles are a pretty good match, but the imprint is not. So this actually looks like the imprint was made before the soles were painted, or rather actually there's like a layer of lacquer or plastic or something, because you can kind of see it's like kind of peeling, can almost like pull it off, which is very atypical of Louboutins. So that was another giveaway. And then a big giveaway is always the edges and how they meet on the shoes. Louboutin is very good about doing very, very clean, symmetric seams on all of their shoes. And so here you can just see like this seam just really doesn't, it's just too messy, it's uneven. They didn't plan well for the design of this shoe. All right, the seam, the midline seam was definitely a big giveaway. I've never seen this style of boot before. They certainly have styles with midline seams, but never one like this. And so this would actually be like, it kind of looks like it would be a recent style, but none of the recent styles that I know have that inner seam, so that was kind of suspicious. Some of the cuts on this leather are also just look a little messy, as does some of the stitching, which I'll show you more in a second. So that was a little odd. Some of the edges on the zipper kind of just come up too much, which looks a little messy, as does kind of the end of the zipper here. So that was just a little kind of too messy for a pair of shoes that you're paying upwards of $1,500. So, you know, at this point I was very concerned that these weren't inauthentic. So I did a little bit more digging and I tried to open them, and the zipper is just very hard to open, actually, very sticky throughout. This is not typical of Louboutin boots. And so I got to the inside here, and so let me compare with another pair of Louboutin boots that I have. All right, so I did just do another video on the Karistrap boot. And so you guys can check out that video. I'll try to link it here if I can figure out how. And you can see that the inside of this boot is actually like a very light beige, kind of warm color. But the inside of these boots, it just looks a little bit more yellow. Hopefully you can kind of see the difference there. Now, obviously this is a very subtle clue, and if you didn't happen to have a pair of Louboutins that you were comparing, it'd be kind of hard to figure it out. And so that brings me to another point that I always kind of like to tell you guys, but a lot of this comes down to actually getting the shoes in your hand, looking at them, feeling them, having examples, so that you can compare. That is a big part of this. All right, so then we get to the inside of the shoe. Obviously the color is totally off. And then some of the additional things that you'll notice are the stitching throughout. It just looks, I mean, it's not the worst stitching that I've ever seen, but it's certainly not the cleanest. They're just like very big stitches, and some of the holes through the leather, it looks like the suture has just kind of pulled through, and it's actually creating a lot of tension and cutting through that leather, which is not good for a boot that's supposed to last you essentially a lifetime. Now, I think this boot was not as big of an offender. I think this one is the one that had, yes, so here is a dead giveaway. So you can see that they just like didn't quite get the stitching right, and so they tried to suture it once and then they did it again, but then the next time they just got a little too close to the seam. They've completely kind of cut through some of the leather here. That is very messy, and you know, it results in a point of weakness for these pair of boots. Like even here you can see it's just so close to the edge there that it's just really not making for a high quality boot that's going to last you a long time. And I really think, you know, I mean, I've never seen this type of flaw on a pair of Louboutins before, so you know, I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure that if they did quality control on something like this and they ended up with this type of flaw, they would not be selling that shoe. Because I think it just results in a bad name for your brand if you create something like this, especially if you are expecting people to pay thousands of dollars for it. So I thought that those were the main things with this particular boot that were absolutely huge red flags for me. And I did point out some of those things on the case that I opened to return the boots. And so I will be returning these. Alright, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed what you learned, please like and subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos all the time, usually about designer luxury goods. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side.